All right, welcome to the Spire, everybody. Sunday afternoon at the Spire. It's not raining. That's a plus. It's been raining all weekend, and I guess the gods looked upon us and decided to hold the rain off for you people. We've got a great performance today. I'm going to go over a couple of housekeeping things, and then we're going to let Jennifer, to my left here, introduce the performance today. We have bathrooms in the lobby. We also have bathrooms downstairs. If there is an emergency, follow one of these red exit signs. It'll get you out of the building. So you guys ready for Jennifer? Yes. All right, here's Jennifer to introduce today's performance.
Thank you, Brian. Well, let's see. Welcome, everyone. We have pretty much a full house tonight, so I think that's pretty impressive for poetry and jazz in Plymouth, Massachusetts. So, welcome. So, I am the president of America's Hometown Laureates. My name is Jennifer Harris. Many of you know me as the retired Plymouth Public Library director. And in my years of service, I had a passion for bringing cultural programming to Plymouth. During that time, I was able to meet Robert Pinsky and bring him to the library. Some of you have met him at that time. And I believe in long-term relationships. I could say something silly here now, but I'm not going to, if any of you know me. So first I would like to thank America's Hometown Laureates, Inc. Board of Directors for their commitment to cultural programming throughout Plymouth. Our members of the board are Stephen Cole, Stephen Delbos, me, Melissa Kenny, Amy Naples, Glenda Richards, and Elizabeth Shanahan Jewett. And we have some of our board here tonight, so thank you. It's very important to give kudos to the Town Visitor Services Bureau, who has supported, this is now my third event here at the Spire, using funding from the Town of Plymouth Promotions Fund, which is tax money from meals and hotels. And this is our way of bringing people into Plymouth. And so I'm hoping that we've got a good turnout of people who don't live in Plymouth to give them the opportunity to check out all the fun stuff, waterfront, the restaurants, some of the sites, I don't know, maybe you've heard of The Rock, I don't know. But so enjoy yourself while you're here or come back again another time to visit. I also want to take a moment to thank our sponsor above and beyond the board, Dr. Josh Koenig from Koenig Chiropractic was kind enough to support us generously. There you go. As well as David Gallerani with Cape Auto. So I'm always looking for funding, so look me up. As far as some of the help that we receive locally, the local scene.media is handling our video recording, editing, and posting of all of our events. The Spire Center for Performing Arts gives a lovely discount to us, and Powderhorn Press did a heck of a job on our promotional material, so I'm thrilled. And before I turn the program over, I do want to introduce Miriam O'Neill is our own, I'm proud to say, Plymouth Poet Laureate. I'm not sure if she's sitting. I'm sure many of you have heard that the governor is creating a state, or has created a state poet laureate, and so I feel like we're right in the middle of all the excitement. So at this point, I want to thank the volunteers who helped us today, and I'm going to say, enjoy the show.
I drowned in the fire. I drowned in the fire and I burned in the river. I drowned in the fire of having you. I drowned in the fire of having you, and I burned in the river of not having you. We lived together for hours. We lived together for hours in a house of 1,000 rooms, and we were parted for 1,000 years. Ten minutes ago, we raised our children. They cover the earth, and they have forgotten that we existed. It was not the worldly illusion of Maya. It was not a ladder to perfection. It was this cold sunlight falling on this warm earth. I drowned in the fire of having you. I burned in the river of not having you. When I turned, you went to hell. When you with all your boats fled from the battle, I followed you and lost the world without regret, but with stormy recrimination. When I burned in the river and drowned in that fire. Someday far down that corridor of horror, the future. Someday far down that corridor of horror, the future. Somebody who buys this, my picture of you. Someday far down that corridor of horror, the future, somebody who buys this, my picture of you, for the frame. Somebody who buys my picture of you at a stall in a dwindled city for the frame. That person will study your face and decide to harbor that picture a little bit longer from the waters of anonymity and the essence of breath. Someday far down that corridor of horror, the future, somebody who buys this, my picture of you, for the frame, at a stall in a dwindled city, that person will study your face and harbor it a little longer from the waters of anonymity and the acids of breath, because I drowned in the fire of having you, and because I burned in the river of not having you. Thank you very much. We're so pleased to be here at the Spire Center, and I'm so pleased and honored to be working with Ricardo Monzon, Stan Strickland, John Lockwood, Catherine Bent, and Tim Ray. The next poem that we'll do, it takes somewhat seriously the idea of reincarnation, certainly of previous lives. And of course, with our ancestors, we have our familial previous lives. And these instruments, this building that was once a Methodist church, was once a Jewish temple. Somebody invented the lights. So in that figurative sense, we have previous lives. This poem takes the idea a little bit more seriously and thinks about the fact that we all, somewhere back there, were descended from royalty. We're all descended from a slave somewhere too. We're all the products somewhere back there of a great love. We're all the products of a rape. This isn't the poem, this is the traditional poetry reading chatter before the poem. The poem is called Street Music, and we'll play it now. Street Music. Sweet Babylon. Sweet Babylon. Headphones. Song bones. At a slate stairway's base. At a slate stairway's base, alone and unready. Not far from the taxis and bars of the old stone station. In the bronze, ordinary afternoon light, to find yourself back in the bronze, ordinary afternoon light around the old stone station, to find yourself back behind that real city and inside this other city centuries back, where you slept in the street. You slept in the street. Your bare feet. Gray tunic of a child. Coarse sugar of memory. Babylon, gray tunic of a child where you stripped in the sweet, coarse sugar of memory, salt Nineveh of barrows and stalls, coarse sugar of memory, salt Nineveh of barrows and stalls, the barber with his copper bowl, beggars and grain sellers, the alley of writers of letters in different dialects, stands of the ear cleaner, the tailor, the spicer, the reign of Ashurbanipal, hemp woman, whore merchant, hand porter, errand boy, child sold from a doorway, coarse sugar of memory, salt Nineveh of barrows and stalls. coarse sugar of memory. Child sold from a doorway. Salt Nineveh of barrows and stalls. Candy Memphis. Candy Memphis of exiles and hungers. Coarse sugar of memory. Salt Nineveh of barrows and stalls. Hemp woman, horror virgin, ear cleaner, child sold from a doorway. Salt Nineveh of barrows and stalls. Coarse sugar of memory. Candy Memphis of exiles and hungers. Coarse sugar of memory. Syrup sellers and sicknesses. Salt Nineveh. Coarse sugar. Runes. Donkeys. Yams. Tunes on the mouth harp. Shuffles. Shuffles in rags. Coarse sugar of memory. Salt Nineveh of barrows and stalls. Candy Memphis of exiles and hungers. Healer, dealer, drunkard, fresh water, sewage. Child sold from a doorway, coarse sugar of memory, salt Nineveh of barrows and stalls, candy Memphis of exiles and hungers. Healer, dealer, fresh water, sewage. Wherever you died in the market, sometimes your soul flows up out of you into the city, hunting for buried cakes buried somewhere in the city. In the coarse sugar. The coarse sugar of memory. The salt Nineveh of barrows and stalls. Thanks very much. I hope you can imagine what a thrill and a pleasure it is for me to work with such great musicians. I'm going to dare now do a poem that I wrote quite recently. And we worked on a little bit this afternoon. We rehearsed for minutes. Old news. Old news. I try to live in this lonesome place, the present moment. I do try to live in the present moment. This lonesome place. But the truth is, I'm more at home in the past. I'm more at home in the past than that lonesome place, the present moment. I share a stack of magazines with somebody who reads the new ones off the top. The bottom, salted with gilded ephemera, outworn fads, outdated ads. That's my meat. I read from the bottom. Then I study the Times online. I study the Times online to behold the face, the naked face of fascism. And his hand. I study the Times to study the naked face of fascism and its hand, its disregarding hand. I study the Times online to behold the naked face of fascism and its disregarding hand. And I keep on thinking about it as I retreat. I keep on thinking about it as I retreat to a homepage of my high school graduating class. On the homepage of my high school graduating class, the conversation floats down the tunnels of fortune to the 9th grade. In the 9th grade, Joe Cittadino expelled. Joe Cittadino expelled for setting a fire in the attic of the Chattel building. Joe Cittadino expelled for building a fire in the attic of the Chattel building. Joe died a while ago. Do people know that? Instead of hiding online the way I usually do, in silent anonymity, I decide to allow myself the homely pleasure, the homely civic pleasure of having something to say. So I post. Joe told me back then it wasn't him. It wasn't him. He took the blame to impress her girl. Joe took the blame to impress a girl whose brother, Mickey Flynn, set the fire. He took the blame to impress a girl. Her brother was Mickey Flynn, the one who really set the fire. And thank you, Junior Giordano. Thank you, Junior Giordano, for saying online, "You are right, Robert. It was Mickey Flynn." Some people might ask, what's the connection between the beginning of that poem with the rise of fascism and the end with Joe Cittadino? I think it may have something to do in my mind with telling the truth. To demonstrate in another way what we think we're doing, that we're making music, and the music is related to the verbal pitches and energies and cadences of sentences and vowels and consonants. I'll say a poem to you aloud, as though this were a poetry reading, and then the musicians will do it with me. The poem is a very beautiful poem written at the turn of the 17th century from the 16th by the great poet Ben Jonson. Ben Jonson, I guess, didn't have as large an imagination as his contemporary and friend William Shakespeare. But nobody made sweeter music for the ear out of sentences than Ben Jonson. This is his poem he called His Excuse for Loving. It's in 2 sentences. Ben Jonson, His Excuse for Loving. Let it not your wonder move, less your laughter that I love. Though I now write 50 years, I have had and have my peers. Poets, though divine are women and men, some have loved as old again. And it isn't always face, clothes, or fortune gives the grace, or the feature, or the youth. But the language and the truth with the ardor and the passion gives the lover weight and fashion. If you then would hear this story, first prepare you to be sorry that you never knew till now either whom to love or how. But be glad along with me when you learn that this is she of whose beauty it was sung. She shall make the old man young, keep the middle-aged stay, and let nothing high decay, till she be the reason why all the world for love may die. I'm going to do that sentence again. It's like something in Charlie Parker or Mozart where the melody keeps on expanding and twisting. If you then would hear this story, first prepare you to be sorry that you never knew till now either whom to love or how. But be glad along with me when you learn that this is she of whose beauty it was sung. She shall make the old man young, keep the middle-aged stay, and let nothing high decay, till she be the reason why all the world for love may die. Let it not your wonder move. Bless your laughter that I love. Though I now write 50 years, I have had and have my peers. Poets, though divine, are women and men. Some have loved as old again. Poets, though divine, are women and men. Some have loved as old again. It isn't always face, clothes, or fortune gives the grace. Or the feature, or the youth. No, it's the language and the truth. With the ardor and the passion. That gives the lover weight and fashion. If you then would hear this story, first prepare you to be sorry. You never knew till now who to love or how. If you then would hear this story, first prepare you to be sorry that you never knew till now either whom to love or how. But be glad along with me when you learn that this is she of whose beauty it was sung. She shall make the old man young, keep the middle age at stay, and let nothing hide decay, till she be the reason why. Till she be the reason why all the world for love may die. I thank you on behalf of Ben Johnson. The next poem involves a musical instrument that was in my family when I was a small child. My parents had very little money Lived in the wrong part of town in a too small apartment, but we were blessed with great pretensions. They were very nice-looking people. They were careful dressers, and we did have pretensions. So my mother found out there was a piano, a full-size piano, to be had for free if you moved it out of the carriage house of the people in Deal, New Jersey. And that's how we got this piano, which was an important factor, remains an important factor in my life. It seems appropriate that we begin by hearing a little bit from Tim, and then I'll join him with the poem. The green piano. The green piano. The make was Aeolian. The Aeolian came gratis. O great thunderer. O half-ton infant of miracles, torn free of charge from the universe by my mother's will. You must have amazed that half-respectable street, that street of triple-decker families and rooming house painters. The day that the bowl-ankled, oversized hands of your legs, piano, your legs bobbed in procession up the crazy paved front walk, embraced by the arms of Mr. Poppick, the seltzer delivery man, and Corridon, his black-skinned helper. Mr. Poppick and Corridon took you up the steps to our apartment. We are not reptiles. We are not reptiles. Even the male body bears nipples. As if to remind us, we're designed for dependence and nutriment, past into future. Oh, piano. Oh, Europe. They budged your case, its guts of iron and brass, up those heel-pocked risers and treads. your 10 kinds of hardwood and felt. Oh piano, oh green piano, angelic nurse of clamor, yearner, tinkler, dominator, elephant, you were for me. When the tuner, Mr. Otto Van Brunt, pronounced you excellent despite the cracked sounding board, we obeyed him and swabbed your ivories with hydrogen peroxide. Now we had a piano. Now we had a piano. And now the colored neighbors could be positive, as they always thought we were crazy and rich. As we thought the people were who gave you away for the moving out of their carriage house. They had painted you the color of pea soup. The drunk man my mother hired never finished antiquing you ivory and gold. So you stood half done, a throbbing, mistreated noble, genuine. You were my mother's swollen livestock of love, lost one, unmastered. You were the beast she led to the shrine of my genius, mistaken. Endlessly I bonged according to my own chord system. Humorous, talk of the town, what I say. Then one day, they painted you pink. Pink is how my sister remembers you the Saturday afternoon when our mother fell on her head. Dusty pink as I turn on the bench in my sister's memory to see our mother carried moaning up the last steps and into the living room, inaugurating the reign of our confusion. They sued the builder of the house she fell in. With the settlement, they bought a house at last. And one day when I came home from college, you were gone, oh mahogany breast, who nursed me through those years of the concussion. And there, in your place, was a crappy little Baldwin acrosonic, gleaming walnut shell. You were gone, oh despoiled one, pink one, forever green one, white and gold one, my comforter. Piano, a living soul. So now I've shared with you my career in music. This is another poem that's quite recent. The way it's pronounced, the title is pronounced, it's the title of someone in my family, my uncle by marriage. The way it's pronounced, it's pronounced different ways in Italy, but in New Jersey, the title is Italo Tallarico. Italo Tallarico. Italo Tallarico. Sometimes I feel like crazy ancient stereotypes govern me and everything that I remember. Like my Uncle Italo said, weirdly, because his wife Thelma and all her family looked like movie stars. They let it make them soft. Not Jewish enough. Not Jewish enough. What did Uncle Italo think he knew about it? Because they looked kind of like movie stars, they let it make them soft. Fresh out of school, fresh out of law school, Italo applied to the FBI. Of course, they wouldn't let in an Italian, he said. Thelma, my dad's sister, was his secretary. She was taller than Italo. About Italo, one of my teachers said about Italo, smiling to make it sound really bad, he's a Flemington lawyer. Meaning what? Why bring it up? Some long forgotten slur from State House politics. State House politics in Trenton. Maybe it involved the trucks of Italo's uncle or his cousin with the name Tallarico in big ornate letters all down the side. An intricate ignorance in me gave me pleasure at the sight of those big trucks, as though they had something to do with me. Italo said, Thelma knows law. Thelma knows law better than I do. Now, when I study pictures of them on a cruise or dancing at my bar mitzvah, I think a true cliche. I realize a true cliche. The love of Italo's life was my Aunt Thelma. We'll do a couple of more poems. You've heard about my music career, and you know some of my family history. You know the sense in which I'm not quite Italian. Thank you. The next poem is, it's my English version of a poem by the great Greek poet Konstantin Kavafi. I read several translations of Kavafi's poem, Old Man, and I decided I could do a version of it in English, and we'll do it 3 different ways. First, I'll say it to you the way I said the Ben Jonson to you. We can call it a cappella. And then we'll do it two different ways musically. An old man, after the Greek of Constantine Cavafy, back in a corner, alone in the clatter and babble, an old man sits, his head bent over the table, and the newspaper in front of him in the cafe. Sour with old age, he ponders a dreary truth. How little he enjoyed the years when he had youth, good looks and strength, and clever things to say. He knows he's quite old now. He feels it. He sees it. And yet, the time when he was young seems, was it yesterday? How quickly it slipped away. Now he sees how discretion has betrayed him, and how stupidly he let that liar persuade him with phrases. Tomorrow, there's plenty of time. Someday. He recalls the pull of impulses he suppressed, the joy he sacrificed. Each chance he lost ridicules his brainless prudence a different way. But all these thoughts and memories have made the old man dizzy. He falls asleep, his head resting on the table in the noisy cafe. Back in a corner alone in the clatter and babble, an old man sits with his head bent over the table, a newspaper in front of in the cafe. Sour with old age, he ponders a dreary truth. How little he enjoyed youth, good looks and strength, and clever things to say. He knows he's quite old now. He knows he's quite old now. He feels it. He sees it. And yet, the time when he was young seems, was it? Yesterday. How quickly it slipped away. Now he sees how discretion has betrayed him, and how stupidly he let the liar persuade him with phrases. Tomorrow, there's plenty of time. Someday. He recalls the pull of impulses he suppressed, the joy he sacrificed. Each chance he lost ridicules his brainless prudence another way. But all these thoughts and memories. All these thoughts and memories have made the old man dizzy. He falls asleep, his head resting on the table in the noisy cafe. In the clatter and babble, an old man sits with his head bent over a table, his newspaper in front of him in the cafe. Sour with old age, he ponders a dreary truth. How little he enjoyed the years when he had youth. Good looks, strength, clever things to say. He knows he's quite old now. He feels it. He sees it. And yet the time when he was young seems, was it? Yesterday. How quickly it slipped away. Now he sees how discretion has betrayed him. Now he sees how discretion has betrayed him, and how stupidly he let that liar discretion persuade him with phrases, tomorrow, there's plenty of time, someday. He recalls the pull of impulses he suppressed, the joy he sacrificed. Each chance he lost ridicules his stupid prudence a different way. He sees how discretion has betrayed him. How stupidly he let that liar persuade him. With phrases. Tomorrow. There's plenty of time. Someday. He knows he's quite old now. He feels it. He sees it. Stupid. He let the liar persuade him with phrases. But all these thoughts and memories, they've made the old man dizzy. He falls asleep. His head resting on the table in the noisy cafe. Kind of hated for that one to end. We'll do one more poem for you. And it'll be another kind of a demonstration of how these two arts, the art of poetry and the art of music, are sisters. They're not identical, but they're closely related. And I'll read the poem once a cappella, and I'm happy to tell you this is a poem that we did not rehearse together. So we'll finish with the musicians, in a word, improvising what they do in relation to the poem. I feel on behalf of Konstantin Cavafy, I should tell you that that poem, The Old Man, Cavafy wrote it when he was quite a young man. It's a young man's poem. Cavafy was in his late 20s. And the old man, he probably did see an old man in a cafe. The old man was probably thinking about the waitress's ass, or his lottery ticket, or his grandchildren. Believe me. Cavafy had a civil service job as a foreigner, a Greek in Egypt, in Alexandria. He was gay, homosexual, very much closeted. And when he sees an old man in the way of art or poetry, he makes it his old man. He thinks about himself and all the experiences he dreads not having. And he makes what I think is a great poem out of it, because he has permeated the old man with his own anxieties and hopes. I just thought I'd do that. I am an English professor. I thought I'd give you a little information. So this will be our last poem. I will read it once, and then I will do it once with the musicians. And the title is Rhyme. I love quoting a very favorable review of the book that this poem appeared in. The reviewer said, "It is so much like Robert Pinsky to write a poem called Rhyme that does not rhyme." It certainly does too, only not in the way he may have been thinking of. It's not those two, how are you, what was there, I had some hair. It's more tongue, instrument, body, spirit, air, song, containment, ready, inherit, there, not important. Rhyme, air and instrument of the tongue an instrument of the body an instrument of spirit, the spirit a being of the air. Each bird the medium of its song, each song a world, a containment, like a hotel room, ready for us guests who inherit our compartment of time there. In the Joseph Cornell box, among ephemera as its element, the preserved bird, a study in spontaneous elegy, the parrot, art, mortal in its cornered sphere. Each room a stanza, rung in a laddered filament, clambered by all us unsteady chambered voices that share it. Each one reciting, I too was here. I too was here, in a room, in a rhyme, in a song, in the box, in books. Each element an instrument, the body still straining to parrot the spirit, a being of air. Rhyme, air, an instrument of the tongue an instrument of the body, the body an instrument of the spirit, the spirit a being of the air. Each bird the medium of its song. Each song a world, a containment, like a hotel room, ready for us guests who inherit our compartment of time there. In the Joseph Cornell box, among ephemera as its instrument, among ephemera as its instrument, the preserved bird, a study in spontaneous elegy, the parrot art, the parrot art mortal in its cornered sphere. Each room a stanza. Each room a stanza rung in a laddered filament. A laddered filament clambered by all us unsteady chambered voices that share it. Each one reciting, I too was here. I too was here. I too was here. In a room, a rhyme, a song, in the box, in books. Each element an instrument. The body still straining. Still straining to parrot its instrument. The spirit a being of air.
Robert Pinsky.
Tim Ray. Catherine Bent. John Lockwood. Ricardo Monzon. Stan Strickland. Thank you so much.